Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome to this talk on MSc Project Management. You have come to the right place. Jonathan just sent me the breakout rooms and the number of participants, and we have the highest. So that's a good start for us. Today I'm going to talk about the MSc in Project Management. I will speak very briefly, only for about 20 minutes, just to talk a little bit about why this program is what you should be looking for. And then I will invite my guest, Lim Pin, who is there. You can see him there, and Jonathan. Okay, our two professors here. And there is another one, Christopher Leong. He's a project director outside, and he will join us. Okay, so let's get started. Now, what is our objective? Basically, to train project managers to a senior level to manage complex infrastructure projects. Okay, so the key word here really is infrastructure. We started as a building department, and then we went to become the built environment, and we got on with project management, and so now we have the masters in project management. And over time, about 15 years ago, we diversified into infrastructure. So the lecturers in the program are mostly from the building and infrastructure industries or sectors. Okay, so it's not so much for IT, but mostly for people in infrastructure. So in the past, our students are from shipbuilding, aviation, road construction, of course, real estate development, and so on. So these are the likely people who come to us. Oil and gas feature very highly, as well as shipbuilding. And let me talk a bit about why this program is of interest to you. If you look at the population growth, currently we have 7.8 here, billion, right? Population in billion, 7.8 now. COVID has reduced a little bit. High-income countries, from now to the next 30 years, high-income countries, not much change. Middle income, okay, so all of us, almost all of us are in this region, will be quite a lot of change, right? And low-income countries as well. So, in a word, there will be fairly rapid urbanization worldwide, and that will create what we call an infrastructure gap. Okay, so how much is the gap? So I've shown you two pictures of a road gap and a housing gap there, including flooding and drainage. So you look at the annual infrastructure expenditure for 2020. Okay, now how do I get the numbers? I look at the world GDP for 2020 is about 85 trillion dollars, not billion, trillion. And infrastructure investment, which means new infrastructure, is about 4 to 5% of the world GDP or each country's GDP. The better off countries, or countries like China, where they invest a lot in infrastructure, they spend up to about 8% of their GDP on infrastructure investment. But on average, it is about 4 to 5%. And maintenance and repairs is about 2 to 3%. So based on these percentages, so we're looking at about 6 trillion worldwide annual infrastructure expenditure. It's just annual. So think about it. There will be a lot of infrastructure investment that needs to come about. Now, so with that, let's look at then why Singapore? All right, why do you come to NUS? I'll talk about that later, but let's start with Singapore. Why are we doing all this in this program? So we have quite a lot of expertise now in Singapore on the construction, development, financing, and maintenance of infrastructure projects. So these are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 6 circles or expertise or pillars, if you like. And it is supported by quite a lot of financial institutions. All right, so Infrastructure Asia is our Singapore government's vehicle to push Singapore as Asia's infrastructure hub. Okay, so we will do the project identification, structuring, financing, consultancy, design, and so on. All these things. We have all this expertise. Those from China, you will know AIIB is an infrastructure bank, pretty much started by China to help to finance infrastructure projects along the Road Belt Initiative. DBS Bank is also very strong in project financing. Okay, so that's from the Business Times recently. ADB, I think you know, is pretty much like the World Bank, is the Asian Development Bank for lending to infrastructure projects. And you may not know this one, Clifford Capital Holdings. Clifford Capital is actually set up by Temasek Holdings. Okay, our Singapore government, right? And what it does is that it securitizes the loans. In other words, it buys the loans from DBS and all the other bankers so that the money is freed up to make further loans. Okay, so it is a securitization vehicle, right? So there are quite a lot of different stakeholders. I did not show all, but I show you some of the main ones to let you have an idea that you know, of the kinds of space that we are in. Now, coming down to the program, we are one of the oldest in the world. We started in '86 for project management, and we have a strong mix of academics and practitioners. The academics are senior academics. You can see their pictures. You can see my picture. We are no longer young boys. And about half are practitioners from outside, and these are the senior captains of industry. Okay, so we want to have a very strong team to be in this program. And students, we have a mix of students from different infrastructure sectors, as I've said earlier, from transport, property development, oil and gas, aviation, and so on. And also local and foreign. In the past, the ratio is roughly half-half, okay? Plus minus here and there, it varies across. Lately, slightly more foreign students. So we're not sure how the ratio will be in future with COVID and all these things going on. But we would like to have a good mix of young and old, and also local and foreign, as well as from different infrastructure sectors. And we also offer project finance specialization for those who want to specialize in the structuring of infrastructure projects. So that's a good one for you to pick if you want to specialize. And then we have a very flexible structure, only 3 essential modules. And we have full-time and part-time modes of learning. And the good thing about being in the College of Design and Engineering is that you have the opportunities to take modules from a very, very big basket of quite a lot of departments. So you have hundreds of modules you can choose. Okay, so we give you quite a lot of choice if you want to choose. Now, why NUS other than the program? So our ranking is pretty good. We are ranked 6th here, the latest ranking for architecture and the built environment. And we do have some old stuff, some new stuff, and some in between. So I hope you can come to this campus and join us in this program. And staff members, myself here, Professor Huang, Go Yang Miang, and Professor Lim Pin is here. He's from the practice track. Mr. Un should be here. So these are the practitioners from outside. You can see I did not put their companies, but they are all from very big companies. So we have people from BIM, we have people from project finance, we have a director on consultancy. Eugene Xia is on contracts, more on contracts, quantity surveying, cost engineering, architect as well. Eileen and Tang Kok Thai are in the BIM area. So now we have a strong team of BIM, and we have 2 program administrators. Cheryl is here. So that's the staff on the program. Now, the program itself, this is what you want to look at. So I'll go through a little bit slower for this slide. We have basically 3 offerings. The first one is the MSc, the normal one, MSc Project Management. The second one is MSc Project Management, but with a Project Finance. PF is Project Finance Specialization. Okay, and then there is also a graduate cert where you only do 3 modules and you get a certificate. Okay, so this certificate, you know, sometimes you're not too sure, so you can take the certificate first. If you get a more than 3.0 in your GPA, then you just join the master's program. Okay, so that's another way you can come in from a graduate certificate route. Now for the modules themselves, I will not go through each of the module. You can see what they are. These are the essential modules you must take. These are all the electives. Electives are from here all the way down to the last one. The last one is new. Currently, we are processing it. It's called urban management. Why urban management? Because we need to manage cities that are growing so quickly. As I've shown you the population figures, and they are the ones who build and maintain the infrastructure as well. So we are hoping that throughout Asia, people who are working in the government sector, as well as all the agencies, government agencies involved in infrastructure, that these people will take our program. Okay, so that is why we want to put it in here. Now, so what do? You look at the SEM is semester. Semester 1 is August to November or early December, and semester 2 is from January to May. So these are the semesters. Some are in 2 semesters. Now, essential means you take them, so you just take all of them. And program electives. So if you are taking the normal program, so you just take any 4 from this whole list. All right, so you have a lot of choice. But if you want to specialize, then you must take from here. Okay, you take 5. We hope to launch this one in January. Okay, so you still can take it. We hope to launch it. We have already submitted it. So 5, and then I come to electives, unrestricted electives. You can take 3 electives if you are on the normal, and 2 if you are on the specialization. Now, what are these electives for? It should be master level electives. You know, let's say you're from shipbuilding or oil and gas, you may want to take some modules from oil and gas departments, related departments, or transport, that kind of departments that interest you. So you may go and take it. Okay, and some of you are from civil engineering, you may go to civil engineering department and take some of their modules. Those of you from chemical, mechanical quite a lot, you can go to mechanical engineering department and take the mechanical ME modules. Okay, so these are there for people who want to have a little bit of their own expertise or domain knowledge. Okay, right. So with that, I will answer questions later on. Okay, so you can type it there as well. I will answer it. Yeah, basically I'm done. Okay, so I'll leave it on this part here. All right, so I have a question from Sonam Sani. I'm from IT consulting background. Which is more suitable for me? What is the which that I have to? Okay, I'll be honest with you. We do have IT students, but not many, right? So for your case, you can join us to get into infrastructure, but for the 3 modules, you may go to School of Computing and take them. Okay, so that gives you the flexibility. Right, so project management is project management. You call it different, by different names. You call UAT, we call it commissioning. So they're just slightly different terms. Okay. So with that, I'll be waiting for questions. You can also, I think I will try to not to talk too much. Let Lim Pin and Jonathan. It's Un, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here. Yeah.
Can we see your face?
Sure.
Un, can you say a little bit about you, what your background, what you teach? You know, a couple of minutes.
Okay. Yeah.
Then I will answer the questions. Okay, so let's spend. We've got plenty of time, so let's spend a few minutes on each of the lecturers so they can hear from their background and a little opinionated view on project management. Okay, Un, you can start first.
Okay. Hi, welcome and very good afternoon. Yeah, I will be teaching managing projects by BIM this semester. Yeah, I will be. I have 2 other partners coming along with me. One is Eileen Tien. She's actually the head of Excite for the BIM. And also another architect, Mr. Tang from ADTP Architects. Yeah, so we'll be addressing actually managing project using BIM, starting from the concept, design management, pre-construction BIM, construction BIM, fabrication BIM, SBO, and FM. So basically cover the whole cycle of the application of BIM. Okay, my background, I'm actually QS. I have also completed the Masters in Project Management. Yeah, I did my MBA in Banking and Finance. And in fact, I have been working overseas for many years. I mean, from almost 17 countries. Yeah, and yes, right now I'm in Singapore, and I'm working on the wafer fab project. The contract value is about 2 billion when we're finishing in within 2 years. Yeah, so it's challenging. Yep, and well, I have a lot to share basically from the practical aspect. Yeah, so you're welcome to join my module. Any question?
Okay, we'll leave the questions to the chat box. Lipin, can you say a few words?
All right. Glad to see all of you, so many of you here. First of all, I'd like to say that I have been with this master's course for as long as I can remember, perhaps almost 10 years with the university. And it's a course where more than 100 candidates would apply for every semester. And we take in only about 20 to 30 out of the more than 100 applicants. So you're looking at 1 in every 3 that we take in. So it is a very popular course, might I say. And many people apply, so very few people get in. So I hope that most of you will make it into this course because this is very interesting, very practical, and I come in project management law, PM law. So as you know, in the infrastructure industry, there are many parties involved. You have the consultants, you have the owner, the developer, and you have the contractors, and you have many other stakeholders. So how are they all connected? They're connected via a legal relationship, contractual relationship. So owner would engage consultants, owner would engage contractors, and then contractors would engage subcontractors, and then so on and so forth. So at the end of the day, they are all bound by contracts, yeah, and there are many issues, technical ones. So if you are into the infrastructure industry, you must know what are the rights and liabilities, what are the duties from each party to another, like contractor, what is his duty towards the owner, the designer, like Mr. Un himself is a QS, you know, and he works for a contractor. So what is the contractor's duty towards the owner of the project? It's all in the contract. So an understanding of the contract is very important in this industry. And if you come into my module, we will go into the details of this contract, and you find that it's very interesting and very practical, because you need to know the technicalities to do well in the project. Now, the claim, your duties, and what is your deliverable at the end of the day by the contractor to the owner. Very important. So I always teach from a very practical point of view, because I was from the industry myself as a quantity surveyor. And so I have many years of practice in the industry, and my questions and my discussion is always from a practice viewpoint. So I'm happy to answer any of your questions, if any. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Lim Ping. Jonathan?
Yeah, hi, I'm Professor Jonathan Lien. I'm the Deputy Head of the Department of the Built Environment. So I graduated about 20 years ago from this department with an undergraduate degree in building. Worked for a while, did my master's in airport planning and management, and got it from Loughborough University in the UK. Work-wise, I'm an airport person. Spent my first few years working on the Terminal 3 project at Changi before moving to airport planning work. I spent about 5-6 years in Austin, Texas at Austin Bergstrom International Airport as the airport planner there before coming back to Singapore. I spent a year out in the Middle East on a mega airport project before coming back to Singapore to work on the Changi East project, the Runway 3 and T5 project, before coming back to join my home department. Normally, you'll see me if you are fortunate enough to be successful when we are conducting interviews. Our first cut, we'll select people to come and to be interviewed. So I normally sit with Willie to interview possible candidates for our master's program. Anyway, you are in very good hands with Willie as the program director. He was our former head of department for 6 years before moving back to his first love, which is this project management program. So yeah, that's all I have.
Thank you. Christopher, please. Could we see your face?
Hi. Good to meet everybody here. Quite an illustrious program and a cast and crew in terms of academic staff who are behind this. I can see very clearly. Also from the department, 1979, so that's a pretty long time ago. And for the longest time, I think I was also program director on this from 1990 to maybe 2000, early 2000, and then partly deputy head. And I've been with this program, probably been teaching since 1990 to now, off and on. And adjunct AP now on this, have taught contract management, project management, 510103, and also currently doing 5106. Design management. So probably 3/4 of my entire career has been on project management, mainstream consultancy. So just a fair bit about design management. Then in summary, is really managing the professional contributions from a multidiscipline project team. All right, comprising architects, engineers, stakeholders, client, users, you name it, and contractors, specialist subcons, and all, a whole variety of personalities and expertise is represented on this program usually, and that makes for a very diverse and very exciting group exercise, which is also part of the Design Management 5106. So you'll be touching on design obligations, managing consultancy contracts, a little bit on design thinking. And I think the probably central feature that will excite a lot of people would be potentially what might be the design liability that comes of the many specializations from the professional services across the whole realm of real estate participants there. So fairly exciting, well represented by all participants, and makes for a very nice classroom discussion, and hopefully we'll be getting back to face-to-face. A little bit, maybe on a little bit of a hybrid. I'm not sure how it's going to take off in August. I'll leave that to the department. But look forward to having all of you from whatever your background is. I just finished a 15-month stint as project director on a process plan to kick it off in terms of direct land allocation, groundbreaking, and piling commencement and what have you. So that's my nearest, most recent semi-retirement of my practice after 16 years there, retiring slightly 1.5, 2 years ago. So back in action still in the industry very much. Hope to meet all of you in some way. Look forward to having you on board. Cheers. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Chris. I'll go on to the questions, and if I didn't answer enough, you let me know if I didn't answer it completely. Any prerequisite, we require an honors degree, okay? An honors degree. In terms of work experience, is preferably 2 years, at least 2 years. It's not compulsory, but minimum is an honors degree. If you don't have an honors degree, just have a general degree, then you need 8 years of experience, okay? Now, if you don't have either of them, then you may want to try to apply to the grad cert first. Apply to the grad cert, do the 3 modules in the first semester, and then see whether your GPA is good enough, 3 and above, and you can join the master's program. Okay, so getting 3.0 is not that difficult, right? If you put in the effort, it's not that difficult. So I hope I have answered that question. Okay, honors degree. If you don't have, then you will need at least 8 years of experience. Okay, so you don't have those two, then you can try to, with a general degree, you can try the grad cert route. Now, next question. Electronic and communication, 6 years. Depending on your degree. Okay, if you get a second lower honors and above, then it's fine. The 8 years that we require, you can apply while you have 7 years. So you're pretty close anyway, right? Because it takes 1 year to process and for you to come in. 2020 graduate. The 2 years, as I said, it's not mandatory. Okay, so Govin Sudhir, all right. So it's not mandatory, so you can apply. Architecture, which module is more suitable for you? Maybe I ask Christopher, where are you? I don't want to answer it myself. But
Yeah, why?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm here.
This question, I try to let the other
What,
stuff.
what is there? I don't see it, sorry.
People from architecture background, which
Yep.
modules are more suitable for them?
Okay, I mean, for logical reasons, I think because you're mainstream on the design functions, you may just choose not to take the elective 5106, but it's really up to you. But I would think time and cost and contracts probably very central in what you require. All right, certainly PM law is absolutely essential, I think. And then, of course, I think based on the size of projects that are regional and that are external to Singapore, I think complex projects is probably at the heart of a lot of the sort of problems that you will see. All right, and I think case studies you may want to, I'm not sure, but it's really up to you. Right? And yeah, sounds good. I hope that works for you.
Sounds good. So basically, you wouldn't want to do design or BIM and things like that, but contracts, finance, these are the kinds of modules that you want to take. Okay. German degrees, we count them as equivalent to honors. Okay. So those in China, Germany, Europe, we count them as equivalent. So not to worry. All right. Brian, undergrad, then it depends on how well you do for your undergrad degree. Okay. So if you get second lower and above, then you can apply. I have only 9 minutes from now before we have shut down. So I will go through all of them. I have 10 messages. So the German one I have said, private university, we accept all university degrees, particularly those who are highly ranked. Okay, but if you are from a lower ranked university, then make sure that, well, not make sure, but we hope to take the top 5%, that kind of band. Okay, conversion from other grading systems. Well, it's yours is a German system, so don't worry about it. You're not the first German to apply to us. This coming August, we have one from Italy. Okay, so not from Bayern Munich, but from Inter Milan. So don't worry about it. We know how to convert. 11 years. 11 years, you have no problem. Okay. Right. The next one. Oh, the recording, I think I leave it to Julie. Can you, Julie, are you here on the recording? I think you can have access. Okay. Anyway, you can write an email to me, and then we will give you the recording. Okay. Email to me. Would it be helpful for me to apply a PhD if I apply for this program? Helpful in the sense that you do not have to take the PhD requirement of 6 modules. In that sense, you skip the 6. Unhelpful in the sense that you should not get your master's and PhD from the same place. Okay? So it's yes and no. Okay? Helpful, it helps you, it makes your life a little bit easier, but unhelpful in the sense that you have 2 degrees from the same university. Better to go somewhere else and have a different experience. Okay, so this one is specialization. The 2 UEs, you can select from any of the above. UE is unrestricted. A lot of our students, the UE, they just select from here rather than go to another department. Okay, so I hope I've answered that. Well, I've got only 5 minutes. Exam projects or a mix of both. It's a mix of everything. Okay, so generally, we have modules that are 100% assessment, assignment assessment. So it's not based on examinations. Most of them would have projects. Typically, it will be 40% continuous assessment and 60% examination, usually a 2-hour examination. But there are modules that are 100% based on continuous assessment. Okay, next one, undergraduate in civil. Do you recommend a few years of work? Graduating in 2013, I better do a bit of outside practice first. Okay, at least 1 year would be good. But then when you apply, it takes about a year to get in. So, right. Next one, for Europe University. To think, does our degree need to have 4 years? Not necessarily. 4. You know, sometimes I give you an example of of MBA. If you go to INSEAD, the MBA is, I think, the shortest in the world. All right, four months in Fontainebleau and maybe 4 months in INSEAD in Singapore. So it's 8 months. Most MBAs are 2 years. All right, so it's not the duration. So I hope I've answered that. Brian, where you can read up the modules. Well, there you go. Jonathan answered already. Okay, so all these modules, you don't have to worry about it. Once you come in, then you know. But you can see from the link there. We will advise you what to take when you become our students, right? And by the way, thank you very much, all of you, for all your questions. Very relevant questions. You know, they're so wonderful. Well, that's all I have. I hope I've answered all your questions. Are there any other questions before we call it a day here? 3 minutes. One more, yes. What would you recommend for an electrical? What do I recommend? You mean recommend for master degree or master degree? Okay, I'm also from engineering, and people from engineering in the masters, I don't know about you, but a lot of people want to switch to management rather than more of engineering. Okay, so project management would be a good one for electrical engineers. May I know when is the interview period after administrative submissions? Interview period will be roughly about 3 weeks after, maybe about that. We are quite on the ball. So once it's closed, we start to look, and then we will have periodic interviews. We just go on and on. Okay, it's like choosing durians, you know, you choose the best, interview and give them the offer, and then you choose the second round and so on. Okay, so we will respond very promptly to you. Right, any last 1 or 2 questions? You just apply just before, during the application period. You need not apply as soon as possible, just during the application period. Okay, we will not process until the end of the application period, then we start the processing. Okay, what about male and female ratios? I don't know. It's pretty even, I would say. Limping?
I think so too, about even.
About even, huh?
Yeah.
Pretty even. Ielts and all these are for those without, when your degree is not taught in, if your degree is not taught in English, Ielts you need 6. Okay, so you're from Myanmar, you will need the Ielts of 6, and 6 is pretty easy because we are dealing with a lot on contractual issues. Better have some standard of English, otherwise you'll have problems understanding the clauses in the contract. No, we are not online. We are not an online platform. The only exception was the COVID period where we went to Zoom. But basically, NUS is a face-to-face university. Okay, and at the master's level, we want you, like what Christopher always tells me, we want you to come to class in a small class setting to interact with the lecturer and as well as with your classmates. Okay, so it's not an online mode. Job experience, not necessary, but preferable. So I think my time is up. I shall not take any more questions unless it pops up. So if you have any more questions, you can email to me. All right, my email is here. Okay, you can email to me, or you just search my name, you will find it. So you can email to me and I will answer the question there. So thank you all for coming, and thank you Limpin, Jonathan, Un, and Christopher. Thank you for your presence. And for the rest of you, there is a second session for some other courses. If you are interested, you can join them as well. But I hope to round it off, where you can see that this has the most people attending. So project management is very, very popular among engineering, especially. Okay, and you know, nowadays companies run their business on projects, whether it's iPhone or handbags, cars, and so on. Everything is on project basis. Each product is a different project team looking after it. Okay, so project management is more or less the future organization for companies on how they're going to operate, okay, rather than the old functional way. Right, so with that, thank you everybody for coming. Okay, so please go back to the main and then go to the other courses if you are interested. Thank you.